I'd like to call this special meeting together to order of the Bethel Public Utilities Commission for Tuesday, May 4th, 2021. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of
America and to the
republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. First order of business is public input. Kathy, do we have anybody on? Nobody on? Okay. No correspondence other than the packet? All right. In that case, next order of business is acceptance of the meeting minutes of April 19th, 2021. We'll entertain a motion to accept those minutes.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, moved and seconded. Any questions, comments?
Matt, I had one minor correction on the last page, the second page, under Kelly's report with the meter replacements.
Yeah,
The 600 meters should be 600 MIUs. Those are the meter integration units,
Oh,
irrigation units.
MIUs.
all
So
right,
just replace meters with MIUs.
okay. Kathy, you caught that, right? Okay. All right, any other corrections?
No.
Hearing none, those in favor of accepting as corrected, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
The motion carries. Thank you. Item number 2, financials. We are not having a financial report this month. We're at the middle of the month, so these are the invoices. So let me bring that up. And I will make a motion that we approve. Is this right, Kath? We only have 2 invoices in the total amount of $644.
Yep. I'll second that one.
All right.
It's a good month.
We're off easy. Okay, 2 items, which both happen to be Attorney Lawler, the amount of $644. Any questions?
Nope.
Hearing none, those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. That's
First
it.
month, that's not in the multiple thousands.
That's right. I can't remember a 3-digit number before.
Marty, you didn't hear that.
All right, new business. Number 1, water main replacements for 2021. I will turn that over to Tom.
Okay, for our 2021 various water main replacement project, we had our bid opening last week. The apparent low bidder was Guerrera Construction out of Oxford, Connecticut, at $749,195. We have a recommendation that I received from Wright Pierce after their review, recommending approval or award to Guerrera. And I was looking to keep that moving and request a motion to award the 2021 various water main replacement project to Guerrera Construction, subject to receipt of the authorization to award from DPH.
All right, well, I'm gonna, hold on just a second, let me make a note of this. All right, so I'm gonna put a motion on the floor that we award the various water main replacement projects in the amount of not to exceed $796,655.
No, Matt, excuse me.
Yep.
It should be 749,195.
Oh, I'm sorry, I'm looking at the 749,195.
Correct.
All right, to Guerrera Construction, including School Street, Rector Street, Pleasant Street, and Fleetwood Park. And the motion is to forward this to the Board of Selectmen to approve and establish a town meeting, special town meeting.
Second.
Second by Paul. Any questions?
Did you want to add what Tom indicated, that subject to approval by the state?
Yes, subject, yes. I always just assume Kathy bails me out on that anyway. All right, any other questions? And hearing none, those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, any opposed? That carries. Okay, item 2, Wright Pierce agreement for engineering services for the Scada project.
Okay, the Scada project that we've been looking at over the last couple of years, when we went through the qualification-based selection process, Scada was one of the 3 projects that we included in that. So we've gotten that okayed through DPH. So at this point, I've gotten the authorization to award the engineering agreement from DPH. And I'd like to request a motion to award the engineering agreement between the town and Wright Pierce for the Scada design in the not to exceed amount of $120,397.
What was that number again, Tom? 120?
120,397.
Okay, I'll make that
I'll-
motion.
I'll second that for discussion.
Okay. All right, motion
Tom-
is on the floor.
Tom, just want to ask you now, that amount of money, is that, I hate to use the word shovel ready, but is that engineering ready for construction?
Yes, the 3 phases would be to get us a preliminary engineering report, which, DPH has to look at. It would include the final design, and it would include getting us through the bidding process. So
Okay.
we'd walk away, we'd have plans and specs, we'd be in a position to go out to bid, and we'd have Wright Pierce also available at that point for the review of the bids. The next phase, now all of this would be included, or it's all approvable through the DWSRF. So what construction services at that point would be an amendment. So this gets us up to and including the bidding process.
All right. And is any of this supported by grant at all through the state?
It will when we get to construction, because
Okay.
we'll do it as one loan, and I'll be able to submit these dollars to DPH for reimbursement, and it'll get lumped into the loan with the construction.
Good.
balance.
Good, thank you.
Yep.
Okay. Any other questions?
Can I just make a comment?
Sure.
This is getting to be a regular routine thing, but I'm going to bring it up anyway. If you look in the fine print of their contract, there's a bunch of things I don't have too much concerns with. But the one thing is that whatever they produce for us isn't ours. All right, it's theirs. And we have the right to use it, but it's not ours. I mean, we're paying all this money for having it to be done, but they're keeping the rights to it. And I'm finding this more and more with everything regarding surveys, any kind of drawings, whether they be architectural, engineering, it's getting to be a real habit. And I guess the problem is that they're worried that they might be used for something else that they weren't designed for and they could get stuck with it. But there's other portions where they say in there that they're not going to be responsible if somebody else uses it. So I don't understand that, but I just thought you should know.
So what do they do? They're like treating it like a copyright protection almost?
Right. We can use it for the purposes that it's being designed for, but we can't use it for anything else. It's not ours.
Are
Well,
you-
let me throw this back to Tom then. If there's any changes we want to make in the future, would we have to go back to the original engineering firm? Or do we have to go back to the contracted firm?
Well, what you're contracting for here is the design. So
Yeah.
they're gonna prepare the plans and specs. I think, Paul, what you're getting at is a change in the field once construction hits.
Yeah.
That would be something I would think, and Marty, correct me here, I would think that would be something you deal with at that time. If something comes up in the field and a change order is required, you'd be dealing directly then with that change order.
Yeah, the only problem I have with that is, if I'm not mistaken, this is for them to do the design, get it bid ready. After it's bid, I mean, I assume it's going to be like all the others. Somebody's got to be appointed to oversee the engineering construction, so to speak. If they're not appointed, it's possible they may not be appointed. We're using their design Well, they're not appointed to oversee the project, and then we have a problem in the field with the project. I mean, I don't know what would happen at that point.
What I would think in this kind of project, I would most likely recommend that we utilize, Wright Pierce for the construction admin, mainly because it's kind of a specialty type work. The water mains that we're about to do, we're comfortable, Kelly and I, we've done enough water mains. We can oversee that contract. And, but as far as all the nuts and bolts and pieces that go into the Scada project, yeah, that would be something I would most likely want to recommend we utilize Wright Pierce for. And I think that would also get rolled into the loan program anyway. I think what they're doing
Unfortunately,
with this, Marty, they might be they're putting this plan together. I don't think they want the client or someone else taking this design and then going off and selling it to somebody else or doing something else with it.
No, I don't think that's it. I think it's just what I said. They don't want you using it for something else because it's designed specifically for this one thing. But Tom, we don't know what's going to happen down the road. I mean, I've got nothing against Wright Pierce, and the chances are they're going to be the ones that'll be handling this. I understand that. But at the same time, who knows? I mean, three of their top guys could get indicted for embezzlement or something like that. Who the hell knows? And then what happens is you're not going to deal with these people anymore. And you've got this clause in there that I think can throw a real monkey wrench in. And I'm not picking on Wright Pierce. All right. This is getting to be in every single contract that the town signs where there's engineering or architectural work. And it's a problem. I mean, it really is a problem. We're paying thousands and thousands of dollars and it's not ours. That's not right.
So why don't we just cross it out? Let them deal with it.
Oh, you're muted, Marty.
I don't think they would sign off on it. I mean, it's in the fine print on page A1 at the bottom of the page 3.1.
What's your bio? You're muted.
I just want to make sure that the commission's aware that this is getting to be an ongoing thing.
So,
And it's not getting any better, it's getting worse.
I'm not sure that it's a new thing, Marty, to be honest.
It's not, I'm not saying it's getting worse though. I'm seeing it in all the contracts now. When I first started doing this 12 years ago, you might have a couple of things that had these items in, not like it is now. Now it's in all of them. I mean, they've got other things in there that I think is great. They've got their insurance the way that I think it's a good thing for the town. They also, so you don't argue with them, about what they're going to be responsible for. They also have in here that, their insurance is going to be their cap. So in other words, if there's $2 million worth of damages and they only have $1 million, we're going to settle for $1 million. I don't have a problem with that. There's a lot of things that are good. I'm just saying, and it's not necessarily Wright Pierce. It's just that this commission and the Board of Selectmen and the permanent building committee or the public site and building committee, they should be aware that this is happening. They got the same problem when they're dealing with the schools. Everything belongs to the architect.
yeah.
I mean, it's crazy.
So this, yeah, I can see this as an industry trend then, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. All right. Well, thank you for the heads up on that. Well, I don't think we have any choice but to move ahead with this. If this is, but maybe for future reference, we can challenge it early in the process. So I was not
We
aware
are
of
early in the process.
where is that? Is that under 4.0, Marty, on page A1?
Oh, it's 3.1.
3.1. Oh, documents or instruments of engineer service.
Right.
Okay.
If you look at the top of the second column
Yeah.
in 3.1, that sentence in there, and maybe Marty, this is the crux of it, maybe not. Such documents are not intended or represented to be suitable for reuse by the client or others on extensions of the project or on any other project.
Yeah.
I think the design person, engineer, architect, whoever, is trying to protect you from using those design plans to say, let's say we had a big enough system like we were Aquarian and we were putting in a SCADA system, now to just go ahead and use that design on another portion of their system for another SCADA system. I may be wrong, but that's how I'm looking at it.
No offense, Tom, but there's no way in hell they put that provision in there for our protection. There's no way. It's for theirs. And if you
That's
read the
what I'm
next
saying.
paragraph, they're already saying that they're escaping liability if we use it for something that it wasn't designed for. So what the hell do you even need that language in there for? Read the next paragraph.
I'm not trying to say it's in there for.
Anytime I hear somebody say it's for your own protection, I don't believe it.
I'm not saying it's for our protection. I understand it's for their protection. They don't want us using their design for another project. Not just Wright Pierce, I think in general, the architect, the engineer, whatever the design is.
But they're also talking about the extension of the project. Suppose we decide to change it a little bit and we bring in somebody else. We can't rely on what they did already to move forward with an extension. Listen, you vote the way you want. I understand the situation with Wright Pierce. All right. I've got no complaints in the past for what they did. I don't think anybody does. But I'm just saying, this is and like Matt said, it's an industry-wide trend and it's a problem. I'm finished now.
Matt,
Yeah,
there you go.
sorry, I'm multitasking. Are you guys done?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah, but, yeah.
okay, so we have a motion on the floor. All in favor?
Second,
Aye.
aye.
Any opposed? Okay, that motion carries. Okay, Tom, you're up again. PUC project summary.
Oh, okay. Where we're at, our sanitary sewer rehabilitation project, which we just tentatively awarded or did award to Kenyon Pipeline. I have the notice of award, which I'm going to send out to them, which will then trigger them to send us back a signed contract along with the performance and payment bonds and insurance certificates. Once I have those, Marty, I'll get those to your attention, and then we'll be in a position after review to sign and return to them. The second part of that project, I did include in the packet some correspondence that I sent back to the condominium associations up at Plum Trees. I sent them also a copy of the plan and table. I haven't heard any response back from them on any of that. I didn't know if they were going to be on this meeting. But if you looked at that summary, I kind of laid out where we stand as far as our last discussion. I think we can handle billing that out as was suggested as an assessment once the project is completed and we know the final dollars. We'll be able to prepare assessments for those property owners. On our Chestnut Tank project, the landscaping is now complete. The last item is the punch list for the site contractor. I'm going to try to push them to get out there in this coming month so we can wrap up the project. I think once that's done, we can set up a date and have a walkthrough. Actually, we can have a walkthrough any time the commission would like. I'm available at any time at your disposal. On the Bergstrom well, we had the workshop with Wright Pierce. We had another meeting with them. They did provide me with a revised layout. So to summarize our last set of comments with them, they did reverse the floor plan. So we have the chemical fill and the utility rooms towards the front of the building. We are going to eliminate the looped driveway around the back of the building. We're going to still need the driveway on the left-hand side to get at the well. And likely we're going to need some kind of access on the right-hand side because it looks like that's where the generator is going to be. So instead of looping the driveway, we'll just have an access on either side. And let's see, last item are 2019 water mains. The permanent paving has been completed along with the final topsoil and seeding. The last item is the mill and overlay out on Route 53 Grassy Plain, and then that project can be wrapped up. And that's all.
Okay, so nobody from Plum Trees joined us tonight?
No, evidently not.
Okay,
I sent them the link. I sent them my correspondence. I sent them the plan, which I included in our packet,
okay,
and haven't heard back.
okay, great. Any questions for Tom?
Nope.
And hearing none, thank you, Tom.
Yep.
Moving on to Kelly. What's leaking?
The only thing that's leaking right now is the valve in the back of the middle school. We've got that scheduled. We coordinated with the maintenance department, the janitors, and the facilities manager at the schools. We're gonna go in there June 23rd. There's gonna be nobody in the building, and they're gonna make a bunch of repairs on the boiler. I guess the boiler is down in the middle school due to a bunch of leaks. So at that same time, we'll go in and we'll get that 4-inch valve replaced. I'm not going to, I'm not even going to look into repairing it. I'm going to have it replaced. It's 30 years old, and I don't even think there's packing in it. I think there's just O-rings. So that'll be taken care of. We've got a couple issues with Eureka talking to the wells. So once we get that taken care of, we hope that to be this week. Next Monday or Tuesday, I'd like to start flushing. So we're gonna, get a notification out there. We're gonna start right at the wells on Ballpark Road, work through all Eureka, then do Chestnut Side, and then do the private areas. Let's see, other than that, the generator at Paul Street, we finally met with Cummings last Friday. They come out, took a look at it. They're going to size the generator and get back to us what they're going to recommend for size and for price. No change in the hydrants. I'm going to expect a couple more will end up turning up when we do our flushing, but we're still with the 7 out of service. Let's see. We're still working on the MIUs and all the meters. We're slowed up a little bit on them because again, we're shorthanded. We are getting a lot done. And as the MIUs get changed, once Paula gets them into the system, she kicks them back to us and we go out and get remote reads on them just to make sure they're working. So we're still stabbing away at that 1,500. I'd say we're pretty much probably halfway now. So that's pretty good in a matter of 4 months, 4 or 5 months. My other thing that I do want to bring to your attention, being shorthanded, I don't expect one employee to be back till probably July from what I'm hearing, but I don't know. With us doing flushing and the MIUs, I'm going to try to see if I can find somebody reasonable to mow our properties. We need to use the guy with that big mower from Bethel Power to do our right of way behind the line, behind the railroad station, and also at least Eureka because of the steepness of the hill. But I want to see if I can get a smaller guy to come out and just take care of each one of the stations that need to be done, probably on a 2-week basis. But I will get prices on that before we go anywhere. So we'll go with the lowest price.
Okay,
But other than that, the only other issue I have at Fall Street is remember those 5 years ago, we put in those grinders. One of the gearboxes is starting to make some noise. So I've got one on order. It's not really, really is no preventive maintenance on it. It's just basically when it makes noise, change it out before it fails. So I've got one on order, but like I say, everything else seems to be running pretty well.
okay. Why are you shorthanded? Do you have some?
I've got one guy out on workman's comp for a knee. He went out in the middle of February and it sounds like he's going to be back in July, but that's between Phyllis and workman's comp to find out where we stand on that.
Okay,
But now that, like I say, we want to get the flushing done before the hot weather comes in, and I don't want to lighten up on these MIUs. I want to keep working at that.
yep,
I've
okay,
got at least one guy every week that's doing that full time. He's actually getting, the two of them are getting between 15 and 20 done a day.
okay.
That works out well.
All right,
All right.
very good. Thanks. Questions for Kelly?
Yeah, Kelly, how are we making out with the grease in the sewer lines? Are we picking up more grease or what?
You know what, Pete? it's not grease as much as solids. We're dealing with a lot of rags, like always. International problem. Grease has been good. I've had, I had one issue at the schools, that trunk line that goes down through the woods, but that was a root problem. That wasn't actually a grease problem. You know, like everything, we're going to see it on our wet wells, but it doesn't seem that bad. We're treating it a little bit with the wet wells, and it's dissolving it before it really gets into our system. But our biggest problem right now is the damn solids, believe it or not.
Now, when you put the enzymes in, do you put them in, how many, you put them manually or what?
Yeah, there's two bags, and once the two bags go in, they work together to create the enzyme to start eating up the grease. But we've been doing that at the wet wells. There's only a couple spots where I put them actually in the lines, and no, again, those are problem areas.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, I was more concerned with their grease because,
Yeah, yeah. No, we've been holding our own with that. I think if we go into our wet wells like every 3-4 months, or even every half year, depending on which tanks, we're in pretty good shape where we can keep ahead of it.
I know Newtown's pushing pretty strong of putting tanks in these restaurants now.
Yeah,
They have these fiberglass tanks that they put in now. They're supplying the pumps on the pressure lines, but you have to put the tanks in.
well, you know, we're trying. There's a out in Stony Hill. I can't remember that 123 Eats. They put a system in. They took out their Big Dipper system, and they
Right.
came up with there's a passive system out there now, and it sounds like everybody's going that way. The little dippers that, you know, again, you gotta be diligent in maintaining them. Where the passive one, they still have to suck them down, but they're not dealing with any failures.
Well, that's what Danbury is making them put them in now. All the restaurants have to do it. Yeah, and they have to be sucked up from the inside. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, they're fiberglass units. Yeah.
Yeah, Tom and I looked at one, what was it, 2 weeks ago, I think it was, out there at the 123 Eats. And again, it's a passive system. There's no pump in it.
No,
And
no, yeah.
what we're hearing is those are state of the art, for better words. And
Right.
That's what I think we're kind of leaning toward.
What's nice about it is once they plug up, they can't drain, so they have to have them pumped out.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
So that it makes them do it. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think with the Big Dippers, depending on where they are, I think out of sight, out of mind. You know, that was one of the issues there, but it sounds like everybody's recommending this new style.
Well, I know like in Newtown, they wanted to do the Big Dipper. They said, no, you're putting the tank in outside.
Yeah.
And they supplied the tank for the pressure line because they're pumping in against the pressure line. Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. All right. Thank you.
Okay.
Great. Any other questions for Kelly?
No.
Okay, hearing none. Thank you, everybody. That concludes our agenda. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
No move.
Second.
Moved by Pete, second by Paul. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thanks very much.
Take care, everybody.
Thanks, everyone.